Hey, what's up, man? How you doing?
Not too bad. Yourself?
Trying to forget about some of the games this weekend.
I feel you there. I feel you there.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Now, this is the CLG Faithful podcast. We're on episode 51, and they're doing their hardest to test our faith. Let's just say that.
I think so. Not gonna lie. There's a few times where I'm like, what am I doing this for? But then I remember it's you guys. So that's why we do it.
Alright, so let's just get right into it. Let's start off with League of Legends. We'll go off the academy teams, and then we'll move into the main teams.
Sounds good.
Alright, so I'm just going to start straight off with the first game. We put it off against Golden Guardians Academy. This game, as far as I know, was not broadcasted. All we know is the post-match results. We lost.
Yeah,
fun. There's nothing more I have on that.
That's it.
So, what did you tell about against Clutch Gaming Academy?
Well, we won a game, finally. Yeah. It was apparently, though, just a Game of Thrones. I didn't get a chance to... a Game of Thrones, not Game of Thrones. I guess you could say it was a Game of Thrones. Because it was just a bunch of people murdering each other in terrible team fights.
Hmm?
Right? Like, that's a bit...
So, Omar got caught out quite a bit early game on Sejuani. He had some pretty good ults around mid to late game. Tuesday, I have no idea what he was doing with some of the super ambitious TP Corki package flanks. He would just TP in with the package, go super deep into three people. Occasionally Tom Kench was there to save him, but otherwise he died. And just, yeah.
Yep. That sounds like TP flanking Corki.
He did pretty good late game though. He got super strong. He got to 6 items. Actually, pretty much everyone got to 6 items in that game, and it was just a Game of Thrones. It was a Game of Thrones. It was a Game of Thrones. The game itself, I'm trying to remember how much it was.
Here we go. 40 minutes long.
Yeah,
Ouch.
It was long.
That will do it. In this current like version of League of Legends, a 40-minute game is like ridiculous.
Yep. There's also
remember back in those days, 60-minute games?
I mean, we're getting pretty close.
Yeah.
With the whole stopwatch meta. Everyone has a stopwatch.
God. Everyone has a stopwatch. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. But they've won a game, so that's always nice to see. We'll take it.
Yeah, exactly. Puts them at 1-3. Can't complain there, Mm-hmm. It was better than the boys going into Sunday on the main team.
What game?
No, on Sunday.
Oh, okay.
They didn't play a game on Saturday, remember?
Yeah, that's right.
I don't think they showed up.
I don't know. For some reason, I think Riot broke broadcast rules and broadcasted something illegal, so...
Yeah, I think they were just...
They should take it down.
I don't know.
Never let it be put back up again.
That was a pretty brutal stream instead of Counter Logic Gaming versus Clutch Gaming.
I don't know. I hope they rescheduled that game. They should really play sometime. Maybe Steely will show up to play.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, for those a little bit out of the loop, they played against Clutch Gaming on Saturday. I say the word play very loosely. Factually, they were in the game. Literally, they were in the game. I can't say anything more other than that.
They logged in and played.
It was awful.
Yeah.
It was one of the worst games of League of Legends I've seen the team play. Any of the CLG teams play in a long time. It was awful.
And truthfully, I think the game was over at Champ Select. Because at the end of Champ Select, like when they're kind of doing that last little bit of shuffle around, the casters were kind of confused as to where both Jace and Vladimir. Yes, you heard that correct. CLG picked both Jace and Vladimir. Where they were going to go, because they're like, well, Febiven's on Azir.
Mm-hmm.
So, both champions, Vladimir and Jace, are okay, but like not really a good choice against an Azir.
I mean, I guess Jace could work if you can poke and wave clear a little bit, but they're not great.
A little bit, right? But he's going to take all kinds of poke. right? Because like that's all Azir is. It's just like poke, 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 poke. Oh, you're dead. Huh, that's right.
Yeah, I mean, Jason's good against
top
melee
against
tops.
Vladimir. Like, I don't know. It was poor choices in the draft, and overall,
Azir gets a pentakill during that fight. Stixley just arcane ships in randomly into their team. Their whole team was just dying, and I don't know why. I'm watching that game, and I got extremely angry just watching it. Like, you know me. I'm usually not one to voice my anger as much. Yeah. But that game just pissed me off.
Yep. It was.
Right. So Golden Guardians.
Yeah, Golden Guardians. Little more positive here.
Dude, we won a game.
We did. Finally.
And you know what? We have the exact same record as the defending champions of NALCS.
We do. We do.
Kill me. Kill me now.
Right? Exactly. Yeah, that's right, guys. TSM at the end of this day went 1-3 as well.
How'd the game go? Do you want to give an overview of it since we have something positive to talk about?
It's Golden Guardians, right? Like, coming into this match, they were 0-3, we were 0-3. One of us was going to get the first win of the season for the team. And luckily for us, it was us. To start off, though, like, Contracts was a bit aggressive. The way that, like, Rainover was playing as Zac, Contracts was on Jarvan, and it was an odd play in that CLG knew that Golden Guardians had vision of CLG's Blue, so Rainover made probably the smart choice of not going to Blue buff and just giving over Blue buff and a 3 buff cycle to the Jarvan, which was a little... Yeah.
To be more clear, Golden Guardians invaded our blue buff at level 1, and Rainover chose not to invade on the other side and take the opposing blue buff. My understanding is it's partly because the solo laners were getting pushed in, and Nar's pretty much always going to push in a gangplank early on, so he wouldn't be able to help. So he just gave it up.
It was a smart, safe play to make, but kind of watching it, you're like, why wouldn't you just go in for it? Like, you got 3 buffed here. Like, what are you gonna do now? You're a Zac. You have no camps left. You know, you've cleared all your camps. You've got nothing, and you're a level behind. They played it through.
They do get the second blue buff though.
They do. He does end up making basically the reset on it,
but
taking the second.
So that was really risky because he gets the second blue buff, and both people are closing in from mid and top, and everyone's just fighting each other. Somehow Zac gets out alive. He does end up using his flash for it, and then Contract wraps around, and then he goes towards Krugs, where Rainover's currently at on Zac, and he EQs over the wall on J4. And then they start fighting there for a little bit. Darshan's obviously going to be closer, so he comes to help him out. And I don't know why he doesn't flash over the wall, but he just stays too long and gives up first blood to Darshan. And CLG says, "Thank you very much. This is exactly the person we wanted on."
Yeah, it was a very weird interaction there because he had flash. He was close enough.
He would have gone through. I think he would have gone through for sure.
He would have gone through the wall. I think it was because Rainover had him tethered.
Right, but he could have flashed before that. Before that.
It was interesting. I think he thought that they had a chance because, like, his teammate was coming up. Like, Lorlo was coming over, but he was too far behind. By the time Lorlo showed up, like,
maybe he could have been dead either way, right? Because he could have roamed from mid, and then Darshan could have also flashed over. I feel like maybe he was just dead either way. So
it was, who knows?
Either way, Golden Guardians makes a 5-man push towards top a little later on the game, and Rainover engages a little bit early and dies. There's not much more to say about that. They lose top turret. They lose mid turret at some point. They've also lost bot turret. So they're bleeding turrets and gold. And Golden Guardians is up pretty much the entirety of the early game. League of Stopwatches is also there. Just everyone's using stopwatches at some point or the other.
so many stopwatches. It was a little insane.
And so we're actually down about 3 to 4K, something like that. And Stixxay and Darshan find Lorlo in the bot lane as Gnar. More actually in the river. And they start to fight him, and they probably would have continued the chase and killed him. Except Golden Guardian starts Baron. So at this point, CLG have to peel off and run straight to Baron to stop that. So, smart thing by Golden Guardians, they save his life. But then instead of peeling off a Baron, they start making towards mid lane. And they try to engage onto Stixxay. At least J4 does. I don't know why, because Jarvan was at half health, give or take.
Yeah.
He just EQs in. And I think then he just ults Darshan and just immediately says stopwatch. GPO comes out and just Darshan saves this fight.
He does.
He really puts off a feat of heroics. And CLG managed to turn the fight. And Darshan, he managed to pull off a GP barrel that ends up securing a double kill. After everyone is made super low, CLG goes, dives a little bit, gets a pretty clean ace, and a free Baron after that. And then from the point at which that fight started to the end of Baron buff, we basically have an 8k gold swing from being, 4k down to 4k up.
Yeah. It was such a nice play.
Mm-hmm.
It was so, back and forth from that point on as well. There was never really a time where a team fight would break out.
Yeah.
And you were like, okay, CLG's going to win that. Because a little later on, Golden Guardians do end up taking the second Baron.
Mm-hmm.
And we wait for it to wear off before we start making a push. And Darshan and Huhi, as was seen in the subreddit, where they had a picture of Darshan and Huhi the next day, where there's a bunch of old people, with Darshan and Huhi's faces superimposed on top, holding their backs in pain. That was them carrying after that Baron.
Pretty much. I mean,
yeah.
CLG never really wanted to fight them in the 5v5. And Huhi was an absolute monster this game. So was Darshan.
On the rise, Huhi was just ham. Multiple times where, especially near the end, to clean up the final few Golden Guardians members, he actually ults through the base wall into just outside the Nexus turrets to chase down the last two members of Golden Guardians to try and get the kills. He doesn't end up getting the final 2 kills.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter
until later. But it doesn't matter. At that point, he's pushed them off so that CLG makes the clean push in.
Right, so just backing up a little bit. So that fight originally starts off with Hai trying to TP flank and go to CLG. I believe they see him just approach from the flank. So he's essentially behind the blue buff side for red side. The blue buff wall for red side. He comes in there, and CLG, I believe they see him, and they immediately engage before he can get to the fight. Biofrost has a 5-man Taric ult, and once this keeps everyone healthy enough, and they immediately go and take out Ezreal during this time frame. Now, even though I want to say it was a 5-man Gnar ult, and then I think everyone gets hit by the Vlad ult as well.
Yeah.
Even though Stixxay dies, Darshan and Huhi just... They're absolute monsters, man.
It was quite the fight. Watching the fight, you're not really sure what's going on, because you have a what is it? You have a Zac in there ulting and has basically the entirety of Golden Guardians inside of him. And you're like, whoa, that's a lot of health pools all kind of clumped up together. And then all of a sudden, it's only 3 people left alive. And that's Biofrost, Huhi, and Darshan.
Yeah, Darshan actually doesn't die this game at all. He goes 707, Huhi goes 514.
Yeah. It was...
Biofrost was actually pretty good too. He didn't die once at all. And he had a lot of
he didn't die. He had 95% killed participation as well. Biofrost on Taric was a beast.
Mm-hmm.
He was there when he needed to be there, and he was pulling off those plays, like the 5-man Taric ult. it was a fantastic job. While it didn't accomplish as much as it could have, because they seemed to be he kind of used it as a disengage to lead up to that fight that we just talked about. So had he not activated it then, that fight may not have broken out to give CLG the win.
Possibly, right? It also depends on how early, because Lola did have good Gnarl there along with
he did
Vladimir, but as you're getting taken out super early is incredibly important because he can't put out all the damage.
They're missing that entire bit of damage.
I guess the big takeaways from this weekend is we actually won a game, which is really nice.
Yeah.
The downside is Stixay is still extremely questionable at best.
Yeah.
He's
gotten better. This game he looked
better
and had some good plays.
Well,
but
anything is better after yesterday's game.
Yeah.
Or
previous days. The Saturday's game, yeah. It's not, like MSI, Age, Stixay.
This whole team is please give us more time to figure out what the hell we're doing.
And you know what? They have that time. Like, this is game 4, week 2. Right? They've still got 7 more weeks to go.
It is entirely possible.
While it would have been great to get a couple more wins. Obviously, this point, I mean, even if Echo Fox goes undefeated. Yeah, Echo Fox is undefeated right now. I don't think anyone was really looking at Echo Fox and being like, yeah, they'll go 4-0 in the first 2 weeks.
So Echo Fox is interesting because they could just absolutely pop off or they can tilt off the face of the earth.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's still a lot to be seen there, but the results are coming, I think. The CLG boys look like they're kind of, especially with this game against Golden Guardians, it looked like they were on more of the same level.
A little bit, right?
Yeah.
The problem is, it's still Golden Guardians, and right now they are the worst team in the league as far as standings. So
we would expect to.
It's not saying
we
much.
Were going to be considered a top team, which I mean at this point, we're tied for second last.
I think
TSM.
I think reasonable expectations right now should be we should try to make playoffs and then come together for playoffs.
Exactly.
Interestingly enough, Febiven does an interview with Travis. Febiven's currently at Clutch Gaming. He starts trash talking CLG because of how horrible we were doing. But one thing that he mentions is how surprised he was about the game because he mentions that they scrimmed CLG and CLG just apparently completely dominated them during the scrim. And TSM's Reggie, right? So Reginald also talks at the beginning of the split before any of the games started about how one of the teams he was the most scared for was CLG. As he said that they were extremely strong and he was very scared for them. And most likely that was the result of scrims. Now, they are scrims. At the end of the day, you can't really tell anything from scrims just because you're using them mainly as a learning tool rather than just trying to win. But, we don't have much to go off of right now. And
no, we have 4 best of 1 games.
If we're just scrim gods, I would hope we could translate it onto stage. So, yeah.
So I mean, what we have to look forward to next week. Why don't we talk about that? So we've got CLG who's playing Echo Fox next week.
I have no clue. Again, I have no clue what to expect from the roster anymore because we could be shoring up a lot of our weaknesses and maybe Rainover doesn't engage really early and maybe Stixay just returns back to form and everything's good.
And then after that, we have FlyQuest. So FlyQuest is sitting at 2-2, 2 wins, 2 losses. I mean, Flame and of everyone on FlyQuest team, I think it's been Anda who has been the most questionable looking. Their jungler.
I thought it was pretty good against TSM.
He was all right against TSM, but a lot of his other games, he looked very questionable from what I've watched.
Okay, I've not seen all of their games, so I can't.
I don't really watch a lot of their games, but from usually I'll tune in, and that's kind of what I was looking at.
I look at the top teams, so.
Yeah, and then I guess Echo Fox, man, like, I want to crush Dardoch. Like,
that'd be great.
I don't want to lose the Dardoch. That's it, right? Like, reign over, come on, bro, crush the friggin' hell out of Dardoch, and be like, bro, no. So that's what we need to do.
We'll see how things progress. I'm going to be cautiously optimistic that we will. I'm going to say 1-1.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, we're coming up against the best team in the league currently.
I think we can beat FlyQuest. I think we'll lose to Echo Fox in our current state. But
yeah, I would agree. I mean, unless Echo Fox completely melts, which they could. Like, it's last year Echo Fox did the same thing. They kind of they sucked.
No, they sucked in odd weeks, but they were really good in even weeks.
Yeah, it was so weird, so weird.
All right, I think we've exhausted League for now.
I think so as well. So why don't we move on? We had a little bit of Smash going on, and you guys are gonna love the name of the Smash event that our boys were at.
Hell yeah!
It was Noods Noods Noods.
Hell yeah!
Yeah, and that is for Cup Noodle. Cup Noodle sponsored the event, so they called it Noods Noods Noods. And if anything, that clearly goes to show how the Smash community is. Like, there was no way that Riot would sponsor a League of Legends event called Noods Noods Noods. Not happening.
Why? What's wrong with that?
I don't know. Even with the connotation being noodles, I don't think that Riot would allow that as an official kind of thing. Whereas this was actually, I mean, again, I guess it's a little different. Smash is not exactly officially supported by Nintendo either.
No.
So Nintendo is like, no, none of this is official. More like that, so it's all kind of like fan run kind of thing. Anyways, we'll get right down to it. We got some Melee and we got some Wii U going. SFAT was there and our boy Void. We'll start off with SFAT. Why don't you give me a rundown of his pools?
Sure. So he comes in seated pretty high at this tournament, and his hardest opponent is going to be Hungrybox and Lucky. Based on what the projected matchups are, he was likely to face both at some point in the tournament. So first off, he goes up against Frosty, Onion, and X Highland, and they all fall to SFAT 2-0. Moving on into the winners bracket, he finds himself against Caesar, and another 2-0 victory. From there, he goes up against Eddie Mexico, and he actually manages to take a game off of SFAT, but in the end, SFAT pulls off the win 2-1. From here, they go into top 6, so this is best of 5s. Now, the first opponent that he's up against in here is Lucky. Lucky was the first to really try and then make a serious dent into SFAT's run at this tournament. And luckily for SFAT, and for all the CLG fans, he did not. It was a 3-1 victory for SFAT. Moving on, he goes up against Hungrybox, and this guy just always seems to have SFAT's number.
I don't know what it is, man. That Puff main, he is just,
He's good.
He's good.
So SFAT falls to him 1-3. Going into the losers bracket, SFAT goes up against who else? None other than Lucky. And this time, Lucky actually managed to take 2 games off of SFAT, but SFAT picks up 3, and that's enough to move on to the next round. This means he's into the grand finals from the losers bracket, which means he's got to beat him twice in order to get the victory at the tournament. So SFAT pulls up a pretty damn good fight, but in the end it doesn't matter because Jigglypuff comes out the victor 3-2, which means SFAT places second place at this tournament.
Yeah, Noods Noods Noods. So we'll move into the Wii U where Void was competing. He was at Noods Noods Noods, and he came in seated first place in this Smash 4 event, so that's actually pretty sweet. In his pools, he beat down Infinite Drag Neil 2-1. He then beat Irregulus and Seal Oss. I don't know what some people's names, man. He beat them 2-0. In his pool finals, he faced off against Aardvark and beat him 3-2 while playing Sheik, Zero Suit Samus, and Mewtwo. So he played a different character 3 times. Pretty. It's going to be a trend you'll see coming up here. Into the winner's semis, he faced off against Aeon. And once again, Void played 3 different tunes. This time, Sheik, Fox, and Zero Suit Samus. Unfortunately, it didn't work out for him this time, and he goes down 1-3 under Aeon. Into the loser's quarters, he comes up against Mr. Concon. Yet again, Void played 3 different tunes, being Sheik, Mewtwo, and Zero Suit Samus. Once again, unfortunately though, it didn't work out, and he falls to Mr. Concon 1-3. This means that Void finishes 5th place at NOODS NOODS NOODS. And that's all, folks.
Yeah.
That is CLG esports this week. Not a ton happened really, I guess you could say, but
hey, can you tell I get saltier each week?
You kind of do a little bit, a little saltier every week.
Just a little.
Now, I can't remember if we mentioned this last week or not. But on the Friday, January 19th, Potter from the CLG.Red side.
We did mention
CSGO. We did mention that?
Yes.
Okay, she did. Okay. I couldn't remember if we did or not.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, she is no longer with CLG. That sucks.
Yeah. But
on some CSGO news.
We have CSGO?
I mean, we don't have CSGO.
Oh, okay.
The E-League major in Boston happened on Saturday and Sunday, and holy shit, that was amazing.
Yeah.
The most watched esport event ever.
Yeah, some scrubs from Cloud9 did some weird things.
Yeah, they won, or that they had 1.36 million people tuned in on one channel on Twitch. The single highest amount of concurrent viewers recorded on Twitch ever.
Hey man,
pretty crazy.
That's what happens when North America wins something.
Yeah, I mean,
or like I
I
don't believe this. There's no way this is happening.
As a shot at ESL. What? Hashtag better than Facebook.
What, you don't like them streaming on Facebook?
I don't think anyone likes streaming on Facebook. Oh man, that was such a shit show. Reading that, I just laughed so hard. And I was like, man, I hope you got paid well for that.
They did that, and then
because you just burned your brand.
They're issuing DMCA takedowns for people who are rehosting it on YouTube.
Well, they're not even rehosting it. They're actually going into Dota TV, just like you can for CS:GO, and spectating and casting over it. So none of it is being done that way through ESL. So that's why Valve stepped in and was like, whoa there, ESL. Get your panties out of your ass, because you're not allowed to do that. Like this, this is as part of our contract. We put money into your tournament, so therefore it's a Valve-sponsored event. And if it's a Valve-sponsored tournament, they can recast this themselves.
Yeah,
as long as they have no sponsors on the site or on their overlays.
They had a tweet that basically said only Valve can issue DMCA takedowns.
Yeah, because it's their game. It's like they own the game. ESL doesn't own Dota 2. Like, oh man. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, that is CLG news for this week, and we are the CLG Faithful Podcast. We are a weekly podcast. We go over all things CLG. If you do enjoy what we do, please take a minute to follow us on Twitter, subscribe on YouTube, give us a rating on iTunes or Google Play. We do love getting feedback, so you can send us your thoughts over at clgfaithful@gmail.com, and we'll get back to you. So, yeah. I've been Artrin.
I'm the Fierce.
Have a great night, guys, and thanks for listening.
Yep. See you next week.
Peace.